Israel is striking Damascus in a huge bombing campaign right now. As a tiny country that is just off the heels of a massive conflict with Iran and with their resources stretched to the breaking point, what Israel is doing right now in Syria is not a luxury. I think it's more along the lines of survival. Everyone is telling you that Israel is protecting the Druze community because they are a minority in the Middle East, but I think that there's much more to it than that. This is about the survival of the state of Israel in several different ways. Let me explain. Earlier this week, Sweida, a Druze majority province in southern Syria, descended into violence. Apparently, there was a kidnapping of some kind targeting a Druze merchant. This escalated into a huge clash between Shia Druze militia, Sunni Bedouin tribes, and HTS, and resulted in 116 fatalities, including 60 Druze, 18 Bedouins, and 14 HTS. For context, the Druze are a small, unique religious sect of approximately 700,000 people in Syria and 180,000 or so across the border in Israel. In Syria so far, the Druze have been able to maintain a level of semi-autonomy and have resisted integration into former ISIS leader al-Shura'a's new so-called moderate HTS government and military. According to all available evidence, al-Shura'a's forces have been waiting for an opportunity to humble the Druze, if not full-on slaughter them, in whatever ways possible. HTS forces have been convening on Sweida, bringing soldiers, tanks, rocket launchers, and all kinds of military equipment. As this is happening, reports are surfacing of soldiers torturing, humiliating, and murdering Druze civilians. Apparently just yesterday, in at least one published incident, HTS attacked a guest house and killed 12 Druze civilians. Also, we have these videos surfacing of HTS guys shaving off beards of Druze as a public form of humiliation. This man here is Sheikh Marhaj Shaheen, who is 80 years old and a prominent Druze figure there in Syria. According to reports, he just passed away from the injuries he sustained from this abuse by HTS. Unfortunately, we know what HTS is capable of here based on the Alawite massacres that happened earlier this year, and Israel is taking action. There were dozens of strikes reported across Damascus. Right now, the Syrian Pentagon just went up in flames. A bomb hit next to the presidential palace. Israel isn't playing around. We're talking close to 200 airstrikes over the last couple of hours by Israel across Syria. I do not think that this is a warning. I think this is actual warfare between Israel and Syria at this point. And like we mentioned earlier, with Israel's resources stretched to the breaking point with a sustained war that they have been fighting, Israel must have a very good reason for escalating this into actual warfare. And we'll get into that in just a second. But first, in the 12-day war that Israel just faced between Israel and Iran, over 500 ballistic missiles were fired into Israel, and there were 31 impacts in civilian areas, with 28 people killed and 3,000 people injured. But through it all, Magen David Adom, which is Israel's volunteer emergency service system, was on the front lines, risking everything to save lives. And right now, they need your help to continue to do this effectively. With Israel's resources strained to the breaking point with the continued war, Magen David Adom needs more emergency vehicles, bandages, ventilators, defibrillators, trauma kits, and so much more to respond to the war, terror attacks, and every other daily emergency that's happening in Israel. People ask us what they can do to bless Israel during this ongoing war, and this is one of the best ways that you can do that. You can be a part of making sure Magen David Adom is equipped with everything they need to save more lives in Israel. Go to savelivesinisrael.com to make a real difference today, or click the link in the description. Reportedly, over the last few days, Israel has been striking HTS equipment as it is being moved towards Sweida for use against the Druze. Israel has been taking out rocket launchers, tanks, APCs, and so forth, but that's child's play compared to what is going on right now. Israel is currently carrying out hundreds of strikes across Syria, primarily focusing on Damascus, according to reports. They're reinforcing the border with troops. You can see these news broadcasts being interrupted by Israeli bombing live on air.
شباب في عندنا قصف شباب قصف يا شباب خذونا على الهواء شباب قصف بسرعة.
So with what we talked about earlier, why is Israel risking so much to get involved here? Israel has over 180,000 Druze Israeli citizens. Even though they have their own distinct religion, These are guys who serve in the IDF, often in complex and dangerous roles, who pay taxes and are very supportive overall of the state of Israel. And right now, the Israeli Druze are in a panic over what is happening to their relatives in Syria. Over the last few days, hundreds of Druze have slipped through the border between Israel and Syria to fight with their brothers in Sweida. You can see this video of trucks full of Druze headed for Sweida, and a video here of dozens returning to Israel later on. You can see just how amped up everyone is. For the last few days, Druze across the country have been protesting the Israeli government, burning tires, gathering at the border, etc. You can see this video here of a huge crowd of Druze men trying to take down the border fence between Israel and Syria. Despite Israel's intervention over the last few days, a lot of Druze seem to feel like it hasn't been enough. Israel's Druze spiritual leadership just called on the community to prepare to assist their Syrian counterparts by any means necessary, in their words. He also called for a general strike and a national day of rage and mourning across Israel. Druze leadership also hinted at something darker. In a statement they made to Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu, they said, if decisive action is not taken, the crisis between us and the state of Israel will dangerously and unprecedentedly deepen. And Israel seems to be taking these threats very seriously. The Druze community has a lot of power in Israel and the ability to use that power to make life very difficult for the Israeli government. If Israel doesn't satisfy them with how much assistance they're giving to the Syrian Druze, who knows what could happen inside of Israel. To calm the waters, Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu just released this video. He's saying, my brothers, Druze citizens of Israel, the situation in Sweida, the situation in southwest Syria is very serious. The IDF is operating, the Air Force is operating, other forces are operating. We are operating to save our Druze brothers and to eliminate the regime's gangs. And now I have one request for you. You are citizens of Israel. Do not cross the border. You are endangering your lives. You can be murdered. You can be kidnapped. You are harming the efforts of the IDF. Therefore, I ask you, return to your homes. Let the IDF operate. Also, there is a broader factor at play here. While HTS leader al-Shara'a has, at least for now, shown a sort of friendly side towards Israel, even hinting at joining the Abraham Accords, this more than likely is all a facade. When they took over the country from Syrian dictator Assad, HTS leadership were yelling in the streets about how this was a stepping stone towards taking Jerusalem and the Al-Aqsa. There's a very good chance that al-Shara'a is taking his time right now to refuel, rearm, and rebuild a massive force on Israel's border. Then when the time is right, attack. This, unfortunately, is a pattern that we have seen repeated over and over again in the Middle East when it comes to Israel. And I think Israel knows this and feels it is in their best interest to make sure HTS does not build up too big of a threat on their border. This is why when the takeover was happening from HTS, Israel destroyed as much of the Syrian military armament as they could and created a buffer zone on the border between Israel and Syria. And right now, every tank, every APC, every drone, every rocket launcher that Israel destroys in Syrian territory, I think just lowers the threat level for Israel's future from that side of the border. It's a fine line though. Israel has to be able to keep the threat at bay on the border from Syria and protect the Druze community so tensions don't spill over at home, all without adding yet another major front to the already strained war they have been fighting for nearly 2 years now. Guys, check out our friends over at Mogen David Adom. The link is in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. If you'd like to support our work here at The Israel Guys, you can go to theisraelguys.com/donate. As always, thanks for watching.